Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 30th of June 2021 and the time now is 6:18 a.m. Well, today is our bi-weekly review and the topic I would like to talk about is firstly about the why renewable energies cannot save our planet. And the second one is I forgot about the topic, but it's something we discussed. I mentioned that the result of the exam is related to our gene.
Mm.
Yep. So how about you?
The first one is about the gun law,
Gun law. Okay.
and the second is about the philosophy, about the science, about the death.
Oh, okay. Oh,
The third one is the karma and cause and effect.
karma. Okay.
Okay, that's all.
All right. So before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. So here we go. Yep. So yeah. How about if I start first?
Mm.
Yeah. Firstly, we talk about the uh renewable energies topic, and then I also talk about that Japan. There is a case that they say they the nuclear waste has been discharged to the ocean. Yep, and then yeah, for this one, actually this is there is an accident, which something like leakage, and after that, actually um they do it purposely, but they claims that the water, the wastewater uh is meeting the standard. Yep, but yeah, for in other countries they have some uh they do some test and then found that the water actually didn't meet the standard and it is polluted. Yeah, and the amount of this waste they discharge to the ocean is actually a very big amount. Yep, and then they do so because they want to free up their storage space, and because they have more uh, this kind of nuclear waste, which is more radioactive. So they something like they have processed the waste, but it didn't really meet the standard, and then they discharge to the ocean. Yeah, so this is the things that I read in Wikipedia, and also they have some research, and then claims that this could be very serious, and then can cause problems to our food source in the ocean, and then that not only affect Japan, but also the countries around the Pacific Ocean. Yep, and it says that something like it only needs 2 months time for this polluted water to affect countries which is very far away like the US. Yeah, but interestingly, I found that this research is done by Germany. Yeah, and we also talk about Germany. They are uh, embracing those green energy, and they also plan to uh, terminate their usage of uh, uh, this nuclear energy. Yep. So and then so this is some additional information for this incident of discharge waste to the ocean. And then also I try to search more for some uh, nuclear energy information, which I found that for China, actually they are the third largest nuclear producer in the world if we count it in country. And the first
But,
is the US, the second is France.
right? But in China, a lot of
Mm.
nuclear plants haven't built, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. They have the plan already, right?
Mm.
Yep. And then for now, the nuclear energy only stands for less than 5% of their uh, country energy production.
Mm.
Yeah, but it is very clear that they have the plan, they have the direction to increase the nuclear power
Mm.
plants, and they wish to make a figure, meet a figure like 8% in 2030.
Mm. So just now, the research your you talk about is including this in incompleted unbuilt plants or excluding this.
Excluding
Oh,
the data is not the latest, but it is calculated uh, as at 2019.
so it is talk about the usage and or the energy production, right?
I think it's the energy production.
Mm. Yeah. So
Mm,
energy production this means didn't include those incompleted
yeah,
nuclear
didn't
plants.
include. Yes. Yep. And then yeah, because China is the world largest energy uh, productions country, so that even they just use only like 3 point something percent of nuclear energy, they actually accounted for the third largest nuclear energy producer in the world.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, and also I try to find whether they think Germany is successful, because their plans is uh, to take away nuclear energy from their country. I mean, they want to close down. They have the plan to close down all of the nuclear uh, power plants in their country. And then yeah, most of the uh, information I get is that they are not uh, treated as successful by going green. Yeah, and there are a lot of information show that they actually like we saw that day in the video, uh, they they suffer a lot of high cost. Yeah, they in terms of the energy, and then they are not so successful. Yep. But yeah, maybe for this one, they also look at they only look at the from the economic point of view, and yeah, of course they didn't take into account something like the the safety or something that maybe the concerns of the public.
Mm.
Yeah.
And just now you talk about is it the Fukushima
Oh yeah.
and
That is
Fukushima
called
discharge the nuclear
mm,
waste into the ocean, right?
yeah, Fukushima. Yeah.
Ah, Fukushima. Yeah, but this is very old case already, right?
Yes,
Because
this is.
Fukushima,
Mm,
uh, the the Fukushima, the nuclear plants already melt down in if I'm not wrong, it's 2018, 10th or before that?
Yeah, it is 2011,
Oh,
and this
2011,
discharge of radioactive water is in 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
And then now is 2021, 2020, 2021.
Mm.
So what's the impact?
Yeah, I think the impact is already over, because they found that after this incident in Fukushima, many countries they actually slow down their pace in this nuclear power plants production. And after some year, and they say that after 2019, especially China, they yeah, they decided to go into the to embrace the nuclear
No, I
uh,
know.
energy.
I mean the discharge. How about the nuclear waste
Mm.
that have been discharged into the
Oh,
oceans?
yeah.
What is the
Um,
impact?
yeah, we seldom have a very um, uh, a big case that we know, which is directed to related to these things, right? I I
Mm,
I haven't heard about this.
yeah, I also have heard about it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, so mm, yeah, not sure what is the consequence.
Mm. Yeah, and
How
yeah,
many?
for
How
this one, I think we hope that the technology can help really.
means to help the nuclear waste or help
Yeah. Um,
the recover the oceans.
uh, uh, I think it's more about the nuclear waste, how they deal with that. Yeah, because that day you mentioned that they have something like third or fourth generation of
Yeah, fourth generation, and the nuclear waste is, if I'm not wrong, is 1/100
mm,
of the size of previous ones,
yeah,
of the current ones.
yes,
Mm.
mm, yeah,
Yeah, and also, mm, actually, I'm more concerned about the impact to the oceans.
mm,
If there is no information, hence, what is the consequence? If there
mm,
is no big news, what is the consequence? Right?
yeah,
No animal die, no fish die, like fish offloading on the oceans, no this kind of events.
mm,
Mm,
yeah. But we're still afraid, right? Because this is something that um, uh, just at the beginning, I think if they are cases like many of the fish die, and I think at that time it is at a very serious stage already, and if we want to do something, it is kind of hard to reverse.
but as over times, if we cannot see the impact,
Mm,
that means the consequence is not that big as we imagined, because this kind of uh, radioactive
yeah.
wave hurt your body in the short terms, and if your body can sustain in the long terms, for example, like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, can it be harmful? Can it
Mm,
be that harmful?
yeah.
Because the first case, or maybe the second case, which is this Fukushima, and also the first meltdown, which is the Chernobyl, and the scientists found that there's no one died, there's no one directly died because of this nuclear plant meltdown,
Mm,
and
yeah.
maybe some of them get cancer. I'm not sure, but they get but maybe they got the cancer after 50 years. Or
Mm,
maybe they did get the cancer. They did get some some side effects, and then but the treatments can control treatment and also like give them the medicines can control the illness
Mm.
or the illness that caused by this radioactive.
Yeah. Right.
Mm.
Yep. And then yeah, I think for this one also if there is no some accidents like the leakage, yeah, then that will be okay. And for
Yeah,
this one,
I think about the leak. You mean the leakage is about the nuclear waste?
oh yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I think the most important thing here is about the regulations and also whether the nuclear plants, the staff, the worker have been well trained, whether
Mm.
the owner have the awareness
Yeah.
that really do that and really fulfill the regulations.
Mm.
And if your country ban the nuclear plants, and that means in a very long time you may not update your regulations on the nuclear plant. So if there's any incidents, you can't react to that.
Mm.
Your regulation is outdated.
Yeah.
And because of lack of awareness, the owner, the staff, mm, maybe also under trend, maybe they also don't take it serious. Mm. But can you imagine if now every country embrace the nuclear energy and then start to build nuclear plants
Mm.
and the regulations still is so mm, uh, so less strict,
Mm.
just like the 2011,
Yeah.
the Japan case ones. They
Mm.
can they can do something and then no one noticed, and then it needs other country, Germany, to investigate the impact and
Mm.
then to investigate their behavior.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So I kind of be subjective. Yeah, sorry, I miss. I kind of be objective. Mm. But in my opinion, I still prefer. I still prefer the solar.
Mm.
If you compare solar and nuclear, I still prefer solar. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that I against the nuclear. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
I think nuclear is a good way. Is a good way for us to generate to produce sustainable energy. At
Mm.
least it's better than the coal,
Yeah.
better than the fossil fuel, all that.
Yep.
And also some research show that if you embrace the nuclear energy, and then you can less people will die due to the air pollution, the water pollution.
Mm. Yeah.
And if you worry about there's some risk, or there's some cost to the environment, or anything like this, then you keep burning the coal, you keep burning the fossil fuels, and then you kill more people actually. This
Mm.
is a real cost, this is the real risk now we can see.
Yep.
Yeah. So you need to balance. Mm. You need to balance and be objective
Mm.
to analyze the thing. This is why some scientists they embrace this is one of their idea. This is one of their point
Mm.
that support that this is one of their point to support the nuclear energy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. And then yeah, I think
And
I
and
agree
also what
with this.
and also one more thing is in the first two meltdown, the Fukushima, the Chernobyl and also the Fukushima, this is some scientists some scientists claim that this is because lack of research. So this meltdown actually can be avoided.
Oh.
Yeah, the Chernobyl is actually the accident is caused by human error. It seems like they accidentally burns the uraniums 235 or 238. Yeah, it burned the nuclear material. Yeah, the nuclear material start burning.
Oh.
I don't know how the accident happened. And some scientists claim that this is the most serious one, and we couldn't get any any serious case more than that. Yeah, and also the Fukushima is because at that time there's an earthquake and there's also what is it called, the 海啸.
Tsunami.
Yeah, tsunami. Yeah, and a tsunami hit the plants or something like that. And I'm not sure how the scientists react to that. It may be because of the location selected. The selection of the location or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Just now, what you want to say?
Oh yeah, I want to say that because yeah, some people they have a very high expectation for the energy when we talk about which types of energy should become the future. Yeah, because in the current situation, also in the short in the near future, yeah, nuclear is I think is possibly the best energy.
And the trend is obvious, right? Because many countries spend a lot of time to study that, and then they also keep their eyes on the latest technology in nuclear energy.
And I believe that many countries actually they hope to become the country that they can have the technology and then to to have the nuclear power plants, right? And then during my search from the internet, and then I found that there is a news which is something in 2018, around the year 2018, Malaysia planned to have nuclear power plants, and then after a few months, they dropped the idea because they afraid of the pollution. Yeah, maybe is they don't have this technology.
No, I think also one of the reason is about the fear of public. And nuclear energy has been becomes the political concept or political issues. It's no
Yeah.
longer becomes a technology issues or something like that.
Mm.
Because what I miss here is the government don't embrace this because they know public afraid this. Even though public, even though the reason that public fear of nuclear energy is because lack of knowledge, lack of educations, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the government.
Yep.
They just need to keep their seat and
Yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When I also try to find about the why Germany use they want to embrace those green energy, renewables energies, and I found that actually previously they planned to close down the nuclear power plants in 2030 or even longer than that. And after that, recently the government planned to close it down in 2022. And one of the biggest reason here is that because they want to get their vote. Yeah, so the government something like promised to do this.
Mm.
Yep. All right, so this is for the topic of renewable energies.
Mm. Yeah, I would like to talk about the gun law before
Yeah.
you go to the next topic because
Okay.
it's actually relate to some of the point relate to this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, about the gun law, I do some research and we actually can okay in some country like the US or some state,
Mm.
they actually can bring the gun to the public, to the street. So there's one term called the open carry. So you can something
Okay.
like carry your guns
Mm.
openly. So you can put your gun in the pocket and
Okay.
everyone can see your gun. Mm. And
Uh,
this is the open carry. Mm.
is it for everyone and every time?
Yeah. If you are uh, if if you are legally registered the gun holding,
Mm.
and then you are able to do that. And in some state, uh, you can open carry
Oh.
your your stuff like the gun, the knife.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow.
And there's other terms which is called the concealed carry. Concealed
Okay.
carry concealed carry is about you also can bring your guns to the
Mm.
public to the street, but you need to hide into your pocket or maybe you need to put into your bag so other
Mm.
people cannot see
Mm.
cannot see you actually have guns. Yeah. And because in that conversation I told you that this is unbelievable if if the public are allowed to bring the gun to the street.
Yeah.
It seems like this is real thing.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also one of the thing I found is interesting, which is this gun law is actually uh, said that this gun law is set that at 19 if I'm not wrong is very early. It's very early. It seems like around 1970s or maybe even earlier,
Mm.
or maybe like 1930s.
Wow.
It's very early.
Mm.
Mm. And it is written into what is it called the 宪法. Okay,
Mm.
written I mean for US, this is written into the law, but the law is okay. It's written in the constitutions, 宪法 constitution, and this is something that we cannot change. Mm,
Yeah.
something that you cannot change. And if I'm not wrong, the president can have one chance. So every president have one. They can only change one constitution
Oh.
in the 4 years. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So when there's a new president, it seems like they can change one constitution. They cannot change more than once. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether this is wrong information or this is actually true. Need to do a research.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell what I want to mention here is the constitution is not that easy to change.
Mm.
Mm, yeah, and why they have this law is not only because they want to protect the public, and then they already well analyzed. If we embrace the gun law, and then everyone will be better off. It's not only about that issue. Yeah. And at that times, because we don't have the technology to analyze the impact, and this law, it seems like it didn't evaluate, and it didn't abandon the gun law since it's set, and then it just like add some little features, or maybe like what's the evaluations on how on which people can hold the gun. So it is about the registration of the guns. So it makes it stricter.
Yeah.
So not so many people are able to hold the gun so easily. Yeah, it's just a man about that. But about the gun law, it didn't change. Yeah. And one of the reasons about the gun law is not one of the reasons that those countries have the gun law is because they pursue human rights, and then they pursue the freedoms. So that means human can own guns. This is their right.
Yeah.
They can hold something if they wish to do that. So this is about the human right. This is about the freedom. And also, one of the reasons why they embrace the gun law is because maybe at that times, if you want to call police, and the police may take times to reach your location, no matter it's 5 minutes, no matter it's 10 minutes, no matter it's 15 minutes. Yeah. In Malaysia, it could be longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Never come.
Yeah. No, not never comes. Maybe they come after 1 year, after 10 years. For the wrong, they come after 1 year, they come after 5 years, but this is for another case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the reason why they embrace the gun law, and it's because they have an idea whether you want to wait the police to come to protect you, or whether you want to have the chance to have the self-defense, to the ability to have the self-defensing.
Yeah.
And in Western country, they choose to self-defense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe for some other country, I think like in China, or maybe for Chinese, but I mean about the culture. Western culture, they have something, the culture, which is they like to do something briefly.
Yeah.
And then they also view the freedoms more than the Chinese culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be imagined that they embrace the gun law. And for Chinese culture, public don't have much idea, and they like to follow other people's view. And then they like to follow other people's pace.
Yeah.
Of course, the Caucasians, the in Western culture, some of people, they also like to follow other people's pace, but there's not that significance compared to Chinese culture.
Yeah.
And also, if you talk about the fear of the gun, yeah, in Western culture they don't fear it.
Yeah. Yeah, and for
Yeah.
already so many decades, right? Already.
What?
Yeah, since the law
Yeah.
we say
Yeah.
that
So
everybody
many decades. Mm,
can open carry their gun to the public. Yeah,
mm,
mostly they have got used to it.
mm, yeah. So so it's hard to imagine
Mm,
if like the Chinese in Chinese culture in Asian country they
yeah.
embrace a gun law, how fear the public will have.
Mm, yeah.
So it seems like we live uh, our culture is like few decades older than the Western culture. If we um if we talk about like this kind of fear,
Mm,
so you can you can you can find some linking here between this gun law, the embrace of the gun law, and also the embrace of the nuclear energy.
mm,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Sometimes the fear is is the is the largest obstacle to something passed to the Congress, mm, or maybe for you to do something. It, it is not only applying to the government, the country, and it also apply to company, to individual.
Mm,
For example, before I came to Singapore to work, and then one of my fear is my English is not good, and I don't, I couldn't imagine I live in an environment that speaks English.
mm,
Yeah, but it actually not the true. Yeah, and also if this is a true, I actually also can get used to it in a very short period. Mm.
yeah.
Just like uh, we speak English every day. We have the
Mm,
conversation every day. Yeah, it maybe just take you 1 month, 2 months, or at most 3 months. You can get used to it.
mm,
Yeah. So this is about one of my fear before I came to Singapore.
yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes really is a fear stop you to do something.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So this is all about the gun law. What's the next topic you want to make a review?
Yeah. Just I forgot the topic. Which topic we I said that I saw some information that our exam result is
Mm.
related to or dependent or depend on our gene, right?
Mm.
Yep. And then I tried to go further uh, for this, and then found that actually why they say there is some relationship between gene and the exam results is actually mainly because uh, with the gene difference, and then it will have some um, uh, it will have some difference in terms of how easy and enjoyable for these children they find learning, and uh, yeah, when they are learning they will feel enjoyable and it is easier, and this is the one of the main parts of why genes affect the exam result.
Mm.
Yeah, so maybe for some people, they since young they like to read books, they like study in the school. Yeah, so this is related to, but not the all factors.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is misinformation, right?
Yep.
Because since I'm young, I don't like to read book, and
Mm,
then when I get older, I start to like to read book.
mm, yep. And actually, they also found that for these things, it affects mostly in the primary and the middle. middle school.
Mm.
Yeah.
The middle school, you mean the secondary,
Uh,
lower secondary, or what?
I am not sure. Maybe I think they think it is kindergarten,
Oh,
primary, and then maybe early of the secondary school. Maybe.
yeah. And that could be true because in when we are in primary school or when we are in kindergarten,
Yeah.
we we don't have we don't have that thinking that we want or why we
Mm.
want to work hard.
Yeah.
And we don't want to work hard, and our parents force us to study, and we
Mm.
don't want to do that.
Yep.
We haven't think before why we want to study.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep.
And
All right.
also we could and also we couldn't find any enjoyment in learning.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
example, when you are studying in primary school, you like to you like to study, let's say like Malay, English, or any other subjects, maybe beside of mathematics. If you are good at mathematics, maybe you like to study mathematics.
Mm.
In Chinese culture, most of us like mathematics.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
But we don't like the language, especially the Malay.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. This is the real case. I think uh, the subject in Malaysia which Chinese students hate most is Malay.
Mm.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just one more additional information for this is they use the term heritable, means that
Can you
something can,
repeat? Can you repeat the term again?
heritable.
Okay.
Yeah, means that this is something related to gene, related to our previous generation. Um, for the subject mathematics and English is the most affected by genes, means that if let's say if one parents they I am not sure how the genes affect, but it's something like if their parents have the genes which is they find it enjoyable in learning or studying mathematics and English, the child will have higher probability that they will find these two subjects more interesting.
And about the English, I found that if the parents start to speak English in their family,
Yeah.
and then they can grow the environments that their child also start to speak English in their very early age. When,
Mm.
for example, start from let's say 3 years old, 4 years old, they can communicate through the English, and
Mm.
parents may also communicate with their kids by
Yeah.
using English. Mm. And if you keep speaking the Chinese or something called uh I forget the terms. This is the 方言,
Oh,
the
dialects. Right?
yeah dialects. Mm. Yeah, and their kids will also speak dialects. Mm. They also know how to listen and know how to speak. Mm.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then your kids uh are not able to understand. Yeah.
Mm.
It is something that uh self-learned, but we learn in the environments
Yeah.
and learn since we are kids. Yeah. And if you already get old and you want to learn a dialect,
Mm.
it's not something that impossible, but it will be very difficult.
Yes. Mm. And we also found that in current situation, uh, less people use dialect already, right?
Mm.
Unless you are in maybe Kuala Lumpur, people like to use English and Cantonese. Is it?
Mm.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is the sharing for this topic.
Mm. So anything else?
No.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the next topic I want to make a review is about the debt.
Mm.
Mm.
All right.
And in the topic, the deniable facts that we talk about, one of the deniable facts is that we all will die eventually. And then I introduce you a philosophy idea about the death.
Yeah.
Then we all afraid of death. Mm, yeah. And can you imagine? Can you kind of like think think from the philosophy perspective about the impact of gun law to our life?
Mm.
Yeah. So we afraid of that. Mm. And why? Because maybe of the fear, maybe of something regret, and maybe mm, we don't want to uh we, we don't want to die in an accident that we cannot control, and we are we are fear we are fear that we can be died in any time. But
Mm.
it's true, which is the true, which is the fact. Yeah. And then if you talk about the gun law, and then some people, not some people, but many people don't embrace the gun law because they're afraid that they may die because of the gun law, right? They
Mm.
may be
Yep.
killed because somebody kill him, use the gun
Yeah.
after the gun law embrace. After the gun law have been set.
Yeah.
Have been approved. Okay, yeah. So we're afraid of that. So we don't embrace the gun law. And if you so if you look about the die, if you die due to the guns, or maybe somebody, no matter somebody use the gun to kill you or somebody use the use a knife to kill you, what
Yeah.
will you think at your last second? Mm. Maybe you feel regret. Maybe you feel some bad emotions,
Mm.
some feelings, but kind of reminds the philosophy perspective about the death, and we shouldn't afraid of death, and this is not something that we should focus because in some circumstances we cannot control. We cannot control our death.
Yeah.
And so if you accidentally die, if you die in an accident, okay, and then what can you do? You can do nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do nothing. And then and then what's the reason that we need to fail on that? Because it is not under our control. And
Mm.
why our focus is about the debt, but not about the bonds, about the appreciation of our life, of our current life. Yeah, and this is something that we discuss in the topic in the
Mm.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're using the philosophy perspective to look at this gun law or maybe the nuclear energy, yeah, and some people will argue that yeah, because gun law, we have the vote, we can vote for that, and we can use our, and it is under our control, and we can we can like make a voice, and then we reject this idea.
Yeah.
We don't want gun law, we don't want nuclear energy, so that our life can be protected. Yeah, it also could be true, because you still have the vote, you can control that.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, but in case your country so accidentally do something against you, against your intentions. They embrace the gun law, and then they they introduce nuclear energy if you are an anti-nuclear person.
Yeah.
And then what can you do? Maybe at this time you say, yeah, I can still keep make a voice, and I also can like form a community, form a groups that's, let's say, like the anti-gun law, anti-nuclear, and which is some people did in US.
Yeah.
And then they successfully persuade they successfully yeah yeah talk to the governments, and then uh persuade the governments to uh, to drop the nuclear plants, to close the nuclear plants, and then also to eliminate further plans about the nuclear plant. This is something that you can do that.
Yeah.
But for public, for most of the people, you don't have the ability, right? And also you don't spend your time in that because you are struggling to your living, and then you don't have like a lot of free times to join the group, to join the community, to attend the event, do something like that. Yeah, for example, like the birthday, everyone agree our country shouldn't have the corruptions, but how many people join the birthday event? How many people wear the yellow t-shirts and walk on the street? Not many people. Yeah, at
Yes.
least for me, I didn't do that.
Me neither.
Yeah. So instead of keep worrying about the thing but you couldn't change, and you also don't like to take action, you also don't plan to take actions to change the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
like to join the events, to make a voice, something like that. And then what can you do? You have some choice. First, you keep worrying, and the second, shift your focus.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is something I want to say, which is think about the gun law, think about the nuclear energy from a philosophy perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any comment to that?
Um. Yeah, I think this is what really we as an individual, many of the time we couldn't do anything for to this. Even you are like you said, you are strongly against, let's say, the nuclear power. But what can you do for as an individual? Yeah, really. And then um yeah, I think it is yeah, it is philosophy, and it is no correct or wrong. Yeah, but I think to me it is a good suggestion.
Yeah. Actually, it's not a suggestion. This is allow us to think, because you see, if every individual they keep their voice into their heart,
Yeah.
and then they don't make a voice, and it also could it also could make some situation which is somebody they form a group, they do some events, but not many people join.
Yeah.
For example, like the corruption, if there's no people join the birthday events, and then public won't have the awareness. And then they keep telling themselves it is something that our country cannot solve. Our country have the corruption and we cannot solve the problems.
Yeah.
And also like the elections, if many people think that we cannot solve the cheat in the elections, and then what can we do? Yeah, right. So there is two way. There is two way. Nothing wrong, nothing right. But it allow us to think. Yeah, but if you are an individual, you know that you don't want to change. You don't want to spend your energy in this particular event, no matter is support, no matter is against. Just like you know there is cheat in elections, but what you do? You stay at home and watch the Facebook live, right? Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what I do.
Yeah,
Even
and
though I don't want, I also don't want. I want a clean country in terms of politics. Yeah, and I don't want the corruption. I don't want cheat in elections. I want my votes truly present. Mm. And I don't want my votes can be replaced by the blanca shield. Blanca shield or something. The foreigners.
yeah. Yeah. And at most, I think most of the people, what we can do is just maybe say something on Facebook, and yeah, that's
Mm,
it.
yeah, yeah, but you didn't take the real action. Didn't like other people that they really go to the center, the election center, and then do a they they treat themselves as a god.
Yeah.
Mm. But we didn't do that. Yeah, and then if the result comes out is against you, the result is against your intention, and then what will you do? Will you blame them? Will you blame yourself? Will you blame the country? But try to think what your behavior first, what your action first,
Yeah.
before blaming other people, before blaming the country. You didn't take action. Uh, and then
Yeah.
so what can you do? This is the philosophy question. You can keep blaming. You can keep blaming other people. You can keep blaming yourself, country, or maybe you need to shift your focus.
Yeah.
Mm. And then something I remember I told you before. This is the chart. Yeah, this is some chart on table when we go out have a lunch. And this is a topic about the capitalism and also the socialism.
Okay.
Yeah. And we kind of have a debate because I support the capitalism, you support the socialism, and then you kind of against, like, if everyone pursue their own interest, and then if everyone is self-interest, this is not good for the country. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also have something similar uh talking, which is that you are in these environments, and then you can have a choice, which is you embrace the socialisms. Okay, you want to have a socialism,
Yeah.
but most of us, we have to agree, we did nothing. We did nothing,
Yeah.
even though we like the socialism, even though some people like socialism, but they didn't make a voice, they didn't do something, so they just keep this in their mind. They hate those capitalists, those wealth those wealthy guys, and then they think this is unfair to them. Yeah. And then besides that, what can you do? You didn't take real action. This is one of the sides. And then another side, which is you can shift your focus. How can you benefit yourself in this environment, in this world, in this structure, economic
Yeah.
structure, capitalism? Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. So should I go to the next topic?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The next is about the karma and cause and effect, and uh this is a short review. Yeah, which is about the pragmatic theory, and I just
Oh.
want to make it clear
Mm.
because in the conversation we talk about based on the pragmatic theory, the discussion about karma and cause and effect
Mm.
is meaningless.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, this is our conclusion. But actually, there's a premises that I didn't mention in the conversation, but I think we all know. But maybe we didn't aware. I just want to make it clear. The
Mm.
premise is we believe there is something, there is some, there's a phenomenon which is when we do something good, and then we'll get something in returns, and
Mm.
we did something bad, we also will get something called the uh revenge,
Mm.
revenge 报复.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then this is the premise. This is the premise. So no matter no matter it is caused by the karma or caused by the cause and effect,
Mm.
if you believe, if you do something you can get returns, if you do bad thing you get the consequence
Yeah.
on um in the premise in the premise, and then karma and cause and effect, there's nothing different actually. Yeah, so in this case, if this makes sense to you, if this premise is true, so the discussions between karma and cause and effect is meaningless. Yeah,
Mm.
but if you think this is not the truth, we can do something bad and we get something good.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Or there's no correlation, there's no relationship. We may do something bad, we also can get a bad thing in returns. We also can get good thing in returns when we do good things, but sometimes we think it's good thing, but it actually hurt other people. Just
Yeah.
like one of my mother friends, they want to introduce, they want to invite my mother into a money game. They think it's a good thing. She think it's a good thing, but we don't know. Yeah. At least if I look back the case, if I look back the case now, and then it's a bad thing. Yeah. Because now you know, in pandemic and every money games company, they have an excuse which is, yeah, they have an excuse which is, yeah, because of the pandemic, so uh our business failed or something
Mm.
like that.
Yeah.
We cannot do something, so this is about the pandemic. This is not about our screen. It's
Mm.
not about the money game screen.
Yeah.
Our business plan is very good, but something that we cannot foresee. So don't blame us. Blame the Chinese. Blame the China. Blame the COVID-19.
Yeah.
So they have an excuse. Mm. And you're very hard to to contact them. They seems like disappear.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a premise. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's all. That's all for all the things that I want to make a review.
Mm. All right.
Anything to add in?
Uh. Yeah. I think no.
Okay.
Mm.
So that's all for our today conversation. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think about conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake that we made, Please also comment to let us know because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like and subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.